Hello and welcome back to my craft room. I'm ready to have another little play with the weird inks that arrived yesterday. So these are the Changes inks by Stuart Semple. I'll leave the link to Hustle website again so you can check them out if you want to. So I signed up for this beta testing kit weeks ago, and it's just been released and mine arrived yesterday, and I had a good old play. Blew my mind. Check out, I'll leave a link to that first video as well in case you want to have a look at that. Well, this is another one. This was blowing the inks around on Yupo. I did find out a few things. One of the main things is that it really is a good idea to wear gloves. I ended up with really badly stained fingers, which despite a lot of scrubbing did not want to come off, and they were like a bright yellowy orange. But as soon as I started cooking dinner, they started to change colour. They've been changing colour back and forth ever since. The first time I noticed it, interestingly, it was when I was cutting a lemon, so I wonder if it's something to do with acid and alkaline that helps to change the colours of the inks. Another big thing I've noticed is that this beautiful deep magenta pink just disappears so easily, and what I've realised is it disappears if you put water with it. So I thought I could do a sort of a bit of a wash with it, and I could wash my brush off in between, but actually when it's mixed with water it just disappears as it dries. So at one point I mixed some of the blue and some of the pink together with a tiny bit of water, made the most beautiful purple, but as it dried it just went blue again because the pink just disappeared. So I think that must be something to do with the tap water. Maybe that'll make a difference what your tap water is, what your pH is or something. Here's all the different, I cut up all my sort of random bits all into 2-inch squares because I thought, well, I could put them like that in an art journal or in my Make This journal or something, and that look quite nice. I might put black frames around them or something, I don't know, or doodle into them or whatever. So what I know is that the yellow, so this is how they come in these test tubes. This is the yellow. Obviously they do have tops on. I've just got them all off ready. I've got them standing in a little £1 pot I bought in a pound shop. It's really handy, so I don't have to keep putting the tops on and off because that's when I got really messy hands. I've decided it's a good idea to I'll keep water out of the equation. I've got a separate brush for each colour, and I've got a separate pipette for each colour as well, except for the clear. I'll just tip that straight in so they don't kind of contaminate each other, because I think if it is a question of some are acid and some are reacting to acid and some to alkaline, if we get it mixed up together, surely that's going to change the chemistry of it. So I know that if I put the yellow over the pink is just completely obliterated and it goes yellow, or I say yellow, this yellow orangey colour. If I put the yellow over the blue, this was the yellow over the blue, but so was this, so it sort of darkens up to this kind of grungy looking colour there. This bright orange over the blue is what happens when you put the clear over the blue. So when you put the yellow over the pink, it just goes yellow. When you put the clear over the pink, it goes completely white, as if there's nothing on there. Another interesting point is that even when they're dry, the same reactions still happen. So these stripes here I put on this morning after these have been drying for like several hours, so bone dry, couldn't be any drier, and it still works just the same. I did a lot of putting the colours near to it, almost like a wet in wet technique like you would do with watercolours with them, and I think that's probably not a good idea, because as soon as a little bit of either the yellow or the clear runs in, it just quickly contaminates everything, and just it's a complete suck and just obliterates everything else. It's a lovely shade of orangey yellow, but where's my beautiful pink? Because the pink is such a beautiful pink. I have done some little bits of pink, hang on, and this was pink just put straight on as it was. Now I'm thinking, was there a little bit of water? I don't know. If it's going to dry back to that colour, it's going to be really disappointing because it's so vibrant when it goes on. So I'm going to have a little bit more of a play now. I had this idea of doing a girl with flowy hair and some kind of a dress, so I could try all sorts and a cloudy sky behind her, so I could try all sorts of different techniques in the same picture. Had a little go, it really didn't work out. I ended up with a completely orange face, not my own face, the face on the So I think really until there are more colours available, there are limits to what you can do. So instead of that, I'm going to do some more kind of doodles, but more controlled, just to test out all my kind of theories. If they work out okay, you know, maybe I can cut them out and make them into cards or something. But I will have at least learned something or proved myself right or wrong. So I've got, instead of going straight from the test tube, so I haven't got to keep dipping a brush that might be contaminated with another colour. I've tipped some using the pipettes into individual little pots, these little plastic pots. I've even got a pipette for each colour. So I'm just going to top these up a bit. And I can also use the pipettes to squirt straight on the paper as well, of course. Also, it does make me feel like a proper scientist using the test tubes and the pipette and wearing my gloves. It's just a shame you can't, you know, your instinct is to want to mix them. Mix the pink and yellow and mix the pink and blue. And, you know, of course, as soon as you mix them, don't do what you expect them to do. And sometimes that's fun, but if it all just keeps turning yellow, that could get a bit meh. I'm just going to do some really simple doodling just to try a few things out. One of the first things I want to do is just see how bright I can get this beautiful pink, so there's no water anywhere near it now. Yeah, I did a wash earlier on in the background of the picture that I did start to do, so I just sort of wet all the paper first and then dropped ink into it, like you would, you know, when you start on a watercolour perhaps. And oh, and it spread out and it looked beautiful, and you know, it was lovely. And then just in front of my very eyes, and I put nothing else on it, it went into the plain clear water right in front of my eyes. It just disappeared as it dried, and it was as if it had never been there. So yeah, that was a bit disappointing. Okay, let's try I'm just thinking I might do kind of a flower later on. So I'm putting this on pretty, you know, pretty heavy now. And although, well, you can, there's so many things that are sort of not instinctive about it. Like, so, you know, you would expect to be able to layer colours, and you can layer the same colour over the top of itself. But if I did this pink and then put the yellow over it and thought, oh, that's all right, I'll let it dry and put the pink over the top again. No, the pink will just disappear. I'm at a funny angle because I can't put my head under the camera. Yeah, so we've got a blue and we've got that very orangey yellow. So you'd think, oh, I'll try mixing a green, but no, that doesn't work that way. It does briefly go green on the page, but then that disappears again. Well, I'm not dipping this in water because that's where things all start to go wrong. I'm not going to do anything with that until it's dry because I'm going to avoid doing that. If I drop some yellow on there, if I wanted to just put yellow dots on there now, while that pink is still even a little bit damp, the yellow just spreads too much, and then before you know it, it's just the pink's gone. I think you can already see as the pink starts to dry, it's getting paler. As long as it doesn't disappear altogether, that's fine. Okay, where's my blue brush? It's quite sort of, it's almost doing that watercolour-y thing, which I quite like. It's just annoying that you can't. One of the fun things about ink and watercolour is doing that wet in wet thing where you just let it flow, and that's, yeah. I'm hoping maybe they might do like a colourless blending solution. Maybe it needs to be pH neutral or something. I wonder if that's what it is, because I couldn't do it in that colour because that would just turn it yellow. And obviously water, no, that doesn't work with the pink, it just makes it disappear, although it worked alright with the blue. So, and I could do with some guidance about whether or not it's okay to dip. So say I painted this blue over the pink, would it be okay then to dip straight back into the blue, or am I going to contaminate it with something that's in the pink? You can't wash your brush off, which is what I was doing yesterday, because then that just seems to make the pink disappear. So it's, oh. Right, I'm going to drop a little bit of blue in while that is still wet, just so we can see. And at the moment, oh, it gets my face out of the way. Oh, it's just gone purple now, hasn't it? So I want to see if I can just make a centre for this flower, but try and keep it separate from the pink because I don't want it ruining the pink. Let's try, just curious. I'm going to press that down on there. So I've got that pattern. I'm going to let that dry and then I'm going to try putting perhaps some pink or something over it. And I don't, no. I don't want that running into there because that's just going to wipe out that pink altogether. Too late, it's happened. Oh, that was just lack of patience, that was. Okay. That was my pink. And now, I don't even feel like I can wash it off with water. I'm confused. I'm going to try painting the pink over these stars. Well, that's interesting because it's gone partly blue. Let's make that into another little house. That's as pink as that. That was just went on really heavy, didn't it? And I haven't done anything else to it since. So it is disappointing that you get this beautiful vibrant pink to start with and it comes down to this quite dull. I'm going to keep painting lots of circles like this and just playing with them and seeing what I can do with them. Okay, I'm going to start going a bit random now because I feel like I'm getting nowhere. I say random, but I'm going to try and keep the pink separate from anything that will interfere with it. Unless I want it to interfere with it. Well, I'm no nearer a beautiful work of art, but I am another couple steps nearer to understanding this weird and wonderful ink. I was almost getting somewhere with this. I think at the moment the best I can do is some kind of background pieces that I can doodle into, and I think that's probably what I'll come back and do tomorrow. I think once there are more sort of colours to play with, perhaps there'd be a bit more scope. I don't know. Really trying to see what I keep looking, and I'm not seeing any other videos going up on YouTube where anybody's trying this out. I keep hoping someone who's a proper artist will come up with some amazing ideas for stuff we can do with this, which I'm not. The only other one I've seen, there was one person doing a live stream where they were trying it out, but they were as mystified as me, so well, I definitely this bit's probably worth keeping. Just I'll use that as a kind of a, maybe I could make something out of that. It's like a really colourful forest, isn't it? It's totally absorbing. I mean, I've been sat here for a couple of hours playing with this again, and just like time's just got away from me, and then you look up and think all I've made is this huge mess. So yeah, you know what you think. Is anybody else, if you leave a comment if you've got these as well, what have you done with them? What have you tried? I've now used up quite a bit of them actually. Yeah, I kind of feel like I just want a bit of I want to see what someone else is doing with them. Anyway, okay, so that's all for me today. Oh, excuse me, I've still got that funny old throat thing going on. It doesn't hurt anymore, it's just really croaky. Anyway, I'm ready to have my third go with these colour changing inks, and I'm determined I'm going to make something. I'm reluctant to call it proper art because I'm not a proper artist, but something a bit more intentional with it. So this is going to be my last try for a little while because I've got some other things I want to be getting on with, and I've just been obsessed with these ever since they arrived. So here's my little cut up 2-inch squares of my original experiments, which actually, now I look at them, they're nice. Each little one, you know, it could be turned into a little work of art in its own right. I could doodle into it, whatever. Do some twinchies. So that's those. I've got this paper ready to use in a minute. That was the blowing around on the Yupo paper. This was the sort of kind of tree trunks that I did yesterday. You'll notice, I think that's why I left them separate. The bit of bright pink that I did manage to retain overnight has almost completely disappeared. You can see where it was, but that lovely bright pink, and there was bright pink on these as well. And I did try really hard to keep the pink away from, to keep water away from it and keep the yellow and the white away from it. So yeah, that's frustrating. I'm wondering whether to just have a bit of a doodle into this at some point. I'm sure fine liners like micron pens and things will work fine over these. Yes, with the blue you can mix with water and get these, you know, interesting effects like you would with watercolour. If you try doing that with the pink, it looks beautiful for a few seconds. Then the water seems to make it disappear. And I think, like I mentioned probably earlier in what I recorded yesterday, I think it might be to do with the pH balance of the water, because I've definitely noticed that my colour changing fingers, it's nearly all come off now a couple of days later, but definitely with my colour changing fingers it depended what I was handling at the time. I'm not going to try and talk about what I'm doing. I'm going to concentrate on what I'm doing and just speed this through. I'm not going to spend any more time on these because I don't think they're going to be great works of art, but it's been interesting to try a few different techniques. I think the most fun I had was making these goldfish appear in the sea like that. That was really fun. So what I need to do now is go back through and just add some fine line. I didn't really enjoy working on it. It could be because it was still slightly damp. I might try paint marker, see how they go. Colour pencil seemed to work lovely on these. It's a nice matte finish. I don't see why the fine liner wouldn't work. I think maybe it was a little damp. I'm frustrated by the limited colours at the moment, because I would not have chosen to use this orange with this blue in this picture. So I'm going to, off camera now, work on these to sort of finish them up. You can see that I've tried really hard to keep that very vibrant magenta, and it just, this was as much as I could load onto it, and I put no water anywhere near it, and I put no other colours anywhere near to it, and this was as dark as I could get it to be. So I guess you just got, just got to bear that in mind and work with it, really. I mean, maybe if I let it dry and put more layers of it. But I've kind of reached my limit now. I'm going to take a bit of time to finish these off. I'm going to use up what's left of the ink, probably throw it around my wreck this journal or create this book or something, just to use it up. Then I think I'll have had enough of these for a little while. I think I've done my best with them for a little while. I'm just going to wait and see what other people do. Okay, so just before I clear up, I forgot to keep my gloves on. Let's just show you how everything turned out. I think after this, I've had it with these for a little while. I'm going to save what I've got left. I've got probably just under half of them left. And just wait and see what other people do, see if I get inspired to try some other ideas. But I mean, these came out all right. For the limited colours that I've got, they came out all right. I went over this one with coloured pencil in the end. The fine liner didn't really want to work on it too well, but that might have been because it was still slightly damp, I don't know. But coloured pencils and graphite worked really well on it. Quite happy with that. If I was really bothered about it, I could go in and do more with the coloured pencils and stuff, but this was just an experiment, so there's that. I used a Copic marker to add the scribbly details to this one. I think it looks quite pretty. The Copic worked fine on them. So I started putting details onto these goldfish, and didn't like the black, so I thought, I'll try putting some white over the bits I don't like with the Signo Uniball. And the funny thing was that seemed to scratch away the yellow and go back down to the blue, or maybe it kind of counteracted the effect and brought it back to blue. So that was quite interesting. I wish I understood the chemistry of it. And then I thought, I just wanted to try a stencil. I think I did a whole wash of blue over it to sort of settle the goldfish in. Then I thought, now it looks all a bit flat, whereas I had the nice kind of ripply shapes before. Tried a stencil, couldn't make it work. Just lifting the colour with water, so I thought, I'm going to have to go back to using the clear or the yellow to take the blue off. Then I hit upon the idea of using this stencil to look like sort of more vague fish underneath, when you get those really dense shoals of fish. So that's kind of what I was going for, but so those are my three pieces. This has been fun. It's been fun, but I'm gonna hang fire now until I see what other people are doing, because I'm sure other people are going to come up with better ideas than I have. That's it for me. If you've had a go with these eggs, please do let me know how you're getting on and what you've been trying. Have you seen any good ideas, or have you seen any other videos I can go watch? I have found now people have started to post some photos of their work with these on Instagram. So yeah, I'd like to see someone actually how they're actually doing it. Okay, right then, I'm going now. Thank you very much for joining me. Hope you found that interesting or fun to watch, and I will see you again really, really soon. Bye.